Greetings and welcome to another Warhammer 40,000 Kill Team video where I'm reviewing the Kill Team Annual for 2023. First, thanks goes to Games Workshop for providing this to review for free. As always, I aim to be honest, impartial and constructively critical. And remember to like and subscribe as well as comment. I've got in the episode description below, I've got a Discord you can check out for free, as well as an affiliate element games and a Patreon if you want to give me some more support. But let's get into it. So yeah, today I am reviewing the brand new Kill Team Annual for 2023, right? So let's get into it. For the contents, it's an interesting review, right? So if we think back to the last annual, right, we got custom narrative missions, you know, new ways to play like multiplayer modes, that kind of stuff. We also got all the White Dwarf teams put into one place, along with two new kill teams with the Galapox Infected and the Elucidian Starstriders, along with those kill teams being re-released. For this annual, it's a collation of all of the Season 2 kill teams. So everything from the Gallowdark boxes, as well as the Ashes of Faith teams. And including that, you get all the missions reprinted, or including the narrative missions, as well as a brand new campaign system. If we were to compare things, they're both collations, right? The only issue is the 2023 annual, its only new addition, right, is a campaign section at the end, which is not like the Ashes of Faith campaign system. And you could be fair in going, that's the review. But instead of just cutting it here, I'll review the narrative section first, because that's actually new and one of the nice things, right? We've got some nice narrative. So there'll be some pictures on the screen as I talk. So the main new thing added with this book is the Gallowdark Expedition. So these are expanded campaign and narrative rules for your narrative campaigns in the Gallowdark season. So the interesting thing is, you see it, right? So you get maps that you need a game or campaign master who will generate all of this. And you basically, on a map, you generate caches. And the interesting thing, they've used the stock images of playing cards. Now, I know people, like, for me, the issue is, right, they could have used any images. It just feels weird using those stock images. But, you know, people may go, but John, though they don't do anything card related. And that's where you would be wrong, because I have a deck of Kill Team playing cards. So you don't have to, right? But you could use the Kill Team playing cards for your campaigns to generate these narrative points, right? Because you like draw a number of cards, 8 times the number of games you're going to play. And yeah, you draw, as the GM, you shuffle this lovely deck, right? And you draw as many cards as needed, and those generate areas that players go out and seek, and in those rooms they find different things like even more experience, different loot, that kind of stuff. You know, you can have your queen as the blooded plasma gunner, right? You've got a lot of variation and incentive to buy these playing cards, right? You could be like me and buy these, right? I bought these at Warhammer Fest with my £10 voucher. Look, it's great. Great. But seriously though, this new narrative system is actually pretty neat for as someone who's actually started playing, you know, more narrative side of Kill Team. It's really nice they added these. You tally them up, you've got more specialisms to go into. Really cool, right? And that's the only new thing in this book. So going over what else is in the book. So you've got all the kill teams for season 2, right? So you've got Imperial Navy Breachers, Farstalker Kimband, Kazakin, Hyrotech Circle, Exaction Squad, Hand of the Archon, Halfkin Salvager, and Felgor Ravager. And then you've also got the Inquisitorial Agent and the Chaos Cult kill teams. You may already see the issue with this is none of these rules are up to date. We had the same problem with the last book, but for compensating that, we had 2 brand new kill teams. So while I like that finally we've got a collation all of season 2 rules and it's nice, all the rules are out of date. All those factions are out of date, and it's kind of tough to ask people to invest in this when every kill team is incorrect in this book. So, you know, Imperial Navy Breaches, Farstalker Kin Band, Kazakin, Hyrotech Circle, Exaction Squad, Halfkin Salvager, Felgor Ravagers, Chaos Cult, and Inquisitor Agents have all had huge erratas and FAQ changes, right, in balanced data slate. So none of these are up to date. Even Hand of the Archon have had several erratas, which actually change the timings of basically your Torment Grenades. So if you were looking for this to be an accurate rule source, it's actually not, right? Even when you bought the Kill Team Annual 2022, most of the kill teams were up to date. Like, it was only really the Hunter Clade and Void Dancer Troop and Warp Coven that had some changes, but you've got 8 kill teams in this book who have all been drastically changed, so nothing's accurate. And the other downside is, while you've got all the missions, because of Crit Ops, the free update, not being in here means all of these missions competitively are kind of pointless. It's really hard to actually like this book, considering we got so much. But that's all the content, really. And it is a big book. Like, it is incredibly thick, right? And it's really nice. We have everything collated in one place. But that's pretty much it. So let me get into the summary. So for the overview of the annual 2023, yeah, it's kind of rough. The pros, you've got all the rules for season 2 collated in one book, one easy to find place, which is nice, right? And you've got a new expanded campaign system for if you're playing on Into the Dark, you know, the Gallo Dark season. So if you're playing a campaign system set only on Into the Dark, you now have extra rules that give you more depth and more things to do. It's a nice refinement of narrative play. As for the cons, there is hardly any new content in this book, which is, normally I wouldn't complain if the last annual did the same thing, but the last annual, as I already said, had 2 new kill teams as well as multiplayer rules and a plethora of narrative missions you could play and new ways to play, like, you know, Endless Tide mode. We didn't even get multiplayer Into the Dark missions in this book, right? All the kill teams are out of date. All, like, to be fair, right, you know, some of them are very recent changes which they couldn't have predicted, but some of these kill teams have been drastically changed that were released in the first box. And, you know, there are free updates to check for Games Workshop, but the issue is, if you were thinking to buy this book as an up-to-date resource, it's all out of date. And if you're buying it for competitive play, no one really uses the missions, but, you know, it's got all the missions in there. So would I recommend this book? Yes, if you're a more campaign, like, casual focused player, because once again, it's got brand new campaign rules and it's a really good source if you want all the Into the Dark narrative missions, like, they're all in one place and you just wanted a collated book of all the base rules. If you're a competitive player, maybe. The only issue is there are other ways to access the rules, and because these rules are out of date, you can access databases that have up-to-date rules. So it's really hard to justify buying it. Like, once again, it's really good to have everything in one place. Like, another nice thing, you've got fold-outs to show, you know, where to place the Into the Dark terrain and then the narrative terrain. So it's really useful in that terms. But once again, I don't know the price of this. I would expect it maybe to be £40, and I would only really recommend it if it was like maybe 30. You know, if this was an online document that they had as a PDF you could buy, which was up to date, I would be really down for this, because I think one of the things I've had fed back from people at events and stuff and friends is, like, they really want a centralized location for all these kill team teams and rules, and this is a really great idea. The main downsides are that the last annual kind of spoiled us because it added so much brand new stuff. And if you're a kid, like, if you're a regular player who's been buying everything, this book kind of isn't really necessary. You know, it does help. Instead of carrying multiple books, you just carry one big book, and that's like a good point. But I don't know, I'm really torn. Like, as a competitive player, I wouldn't find this quite useful. But if I'm playing like more campaign narrative based and I just wanted everything in one place for a quick reference, and then I could just print out the updates, I think I'd be okay with it. So that's why I'm kind of unsure. It has made reviewing this kind of easy, but very difficult at the same time. And I think it's going to come down to your own judgment. For me, it's a bit of a hit instead of a miss. Like, it's a bit of a miss instead of a hit, because I think, you know, if they added like 2 new kill teams, even some, you know, we've had the narrative we had the multiplayer rules in White Dwarf, but it really would have been nice to have them in here as well. Compared to the last annual was way better. But, you know, if this becomes what the annual is, a collation of all the rules, and it becomes like a living document we can check, that's great. As it currently is, all my problems would be fixed if they released this as an online product you could buy up to date. You know, like when you could buy codexes, so you either had the normal codex or the PDF, and the PDF would be updated every time there was FAQ or balance changes. I think if you had that version for this, that would be really good and really useful. You know, it is what it is. But that's pretty much it from me today. I'll have an article version of this probably down in the episode description below. But please remember to like and subscribe as well as comment. Let me know what you thought of this review. Do you like it? Do you like the annual? Do you hate it? Let me know if you disagree or agree with what I said. And remember, I've got a Discord you can check down in the episode description below for free. And a affiliate link at Element Games if you want to buy that. Because if you buy this at Element Games, you'll get a 15 to 20% discount while at no additional cost to yourself and helping to support the channel. And remember, I've also got a Patreon if you want to, you know, give me some more support. But I'll quickly shout out my patrons. So for my Adepts of the Crit, I have Tom, Sam, Nick, Mr. Meatwad, John Thomas, Dad of Goldens, and Ben. And then for my Veterans of the Crit, I have Samja. So thank you so much for all your support. It really means a lot to me and helps support the channel. But yeah, interesting release. I'm not sure how people will like it. Once again, in theory, this is a great product. It's something we've always wanted. The delivery hasn't been great, but it highlights one of the main flaws of Kill Team / Games Workshop, where we've had no real digital format that's easily accessible. So, you know, it was very easy to just go, wow, this is trash. But I thought, you know, I can see the strengths and merits. It's just a shame how it's turned out, right? So it's kind of more like, instead of being angry, it's more like, oh, this is actually quite disappointing because it could have been a really promising product. You know, as I said, if you just added like multiplayer missions, maybe 1 to 2 more kill teams, that would have been great. But, you know, if this is what they're going to go going forwards, Games Workshop, you know, like every season you'll just at the end have everything collated, that'd be nice. I just want a PDF, like an online version that's up to date, and then I would buy that. That'd be great. But that's pretty much it from me today. Remember, no matter what your annual says, there's always a chance to have up-to-date rules as long as you can roll a crit.